I've got too many bills.
If you need funds, you can apply in minutes at cashnetusa.com and have the money in your account as soon as the same business day.
Okay, got it. Applying now.
They've been helping hardworking people cover emergency expenses since 2004.
Hey, look, I got it.
You've got this.
When you need money fast, be the hero. All loans subject to lender approval. Speed of funding is subject to verifications and your bank's processing times. See cashnetusa.com for more details.
You know what makes every outfit look better? The right bra from Third Love. Their bras make it easy to get what you want. Plus, they make over 60 sizes, including half cups you won't find anywhere else. Third Love solves bra problems, or what they call problems. Real women test every style they make. Comfort and support are guaranteed. So stop settling for bad bras. Get your problem solved today. Save $15 on your first order with code podcast15 at thirdlove.com.
Hello, welcome to Who's the Bitch?
Who is the bitch in your life? Is it you?
Could be you.
It could be.
I'm Kara Klank.
And I'm Jackie Zabrowski, and we're so excited to talk about the bitches in your life and whether that bitch is you or maybe it's somebody else.
And it's maybe time for you to embrace your inner bitch on today's episode. No, I'm just like, we just go full Gwyneth Paltrow. We're like, we have a special jade egg that's going to help you get in touch with your inner bitch.
I mean, she is the one that created yoga, you know?
She did.
So we have to listen to her about all things. No, you know, I feel like I'm so excited about the more we continue to work on this show because, again, it's bringing my inner bitch out.
Yes.
And I'm finding myself in just so many places now because in my life, a lot of people do come to me just for advice, just in an everyday world. But usually I'm a lot more like, given the benefit of the doubt. I want everyone's the good one in the situation. Yeah. But I just want to say thank you, Kara, because I feel like this show is allowing me to remember that I'm like, I dare say, 69% bitch. You know, I have so much bitch to give.
Yes.
That I forget about.
So much bitch to give. You could get bitch branded on your body.
Do you feel that you need more bitch in your life?
Yes, I definitely think I have some friends who bring that out, who I'm like, oh, I could never be like, say something like that. And then I'm like, no, I should stand up for myself more. And like,
good for you.
It's situational. You know, sometimes I'm a real bitch and my husband's like, oh no. Like if I go after like a person, like, oh my God. Okay. Like this isn't like a bitch, but like, we took our kids to Chuck E. Cheese recently. And
oh, God, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. It was a school fundraiser. Otherwise, it would not have been my choice. But they do love it. And you can't just kind of sit there and do whatever because it's an enclosed space.
Right.
So the guy at the door literally, if I was to say, Jackie, do a quick sketch of a child molester right now, like this is what this guy looks like.
Oh,
like
no, not at the Chuck E. Cheese.
And he's right at Chuck E. Cheese and he's the guy checking you in and he's doing a voice for my kids. He's like, oh no, my pen is stuck. And like he's doing this voice and I just want to get into the goddamn Chuck E. Cheese.
No.
And Jared cannot stop laughing because my face is 1000% bitch. Like I'm just like... Whenever you're done being an absolute fucking freak, can you please stop? Like it was like he was trying to entertain the kids, and the kids were like, like they were like, okay, like they don't know what a child molester looks like,
right?
So they were like, whatever.
But kids can pick up on a vibe. I'm not
saying the guy is a child molester. I'm just saying he had a look of like the hair had not been washed in several days. Like he has a smell to him. I've seen this guy before. It's a wild hire for Chuck E. Cheese.
Interesting, yeah.
And I feel like Jared loves when I and he half the time loves when I'm bitchy with like a person that I don't feel is doing their job the right way, but the other half the time he's like, no, stop.
Please don't do this.
So
Please
it depends, but I'm not always like that too. And
It just depends. I dare say if you're at Charles Entertainment Cheese's house that I feel like things are a little bit more high key than you usually would be.
Yeah.
And I definitely used to be known as like Jackie Popoff. And I'm not talking about Popov, which I drank a
potato
lot of that.
vodka that I frequented in my younger days.
Give me that plastic bottle.
Oh, do they still make it? We should go for a sponsorship with Popov.
Popov
Be
is
like,
what we're shooting for?
Get your cocktails popping with Popov.
No, I'm over here trying desperately to get Buzz Balls because it's woman-owned. I want Buzz Balls to be the center of my life. But I guess it just can't be. So I used to pop off a lot more than I do now, which is probably for the best.
Yeah.
Because I was known as a bit of I dare say, spitfire.
Yeah.
And it would get me in trouble often.
And now, what are we talking about? Are we talking about like friends? You're calling out friends for being dicks? You're calling out people on the street?
Strangers.
Like,
It's
strangers.
always strangers. My biggest problem is if someone is like staring at me for too long, I cannot help myself but to say like, can I help you with something?
Yeah.
Is there something that you need?
Yeah.
And I always have to say it in such a bitchy tone. Like maybe someone's just like scared to talk to me, or like someone just needs to ask me a question, or it's like, you don't need to respond like that. But sometimes there's a lot going on in a person's world, and sometimes you kind of pop off a little bit, and especially when we're living in like spooky season currently.
Yes.
Which spooky season is my favorite season.
You're a spooky little bitch. I know that about you.
Spooky. Wait, what's your favorite season then? You're not a spooky.
I mean, I loved Halloween so much for a long time, and then I think I just kind of like. And then I was like, oh, I like to get a good costume together, but I wasn't super psycho about it. But now that my kids are into it, like we're into it. Like our house is decorated.
Oh, I love that.
They're so into it. Like,
yes.
So now I'm more of a spooky season girly, but I would say I love summer. I don't know. Is that like lame? I don't know. What do I don't know.
None of the
I don't think there's like a holiday that I'm like super aligned with anymore. Like 4th of July, I'm like, yeah, I love a firecracker. I mean, I just love to drink. I'm like, can we do it? I love Christmas. I'm a Jew who loves Christmas. I mean, there's a lot going on with me seasonally. Oh, I mean, I'm completely don't celebrate Easter, but Cadbury mini eggs are my obsession. So I do love the Easter seasonal candies.
Might I introduce you to Spring Thanksgiving, which I did start this year because I love Thanksgiving so much that I also do Spring Thanksgiving, but I do it on Easter because I am not a practicing Catholic. So I still have Spring Thanksgiving, but essentially it's just like a lighter version of Thanksgiving, but you have it in the spring.
Oh, me over here praying for the invite to Springsgiving.
I think you're going to get it next year. I think
I'm going to get it.
List.
All right.
But I find myself that I have a bunch of rules about the world of Halloween that I think a lot of other people don't have.
Okay.
And I find myself often like in a haunt, let's say, and maybe you're walking behind someone who is recording the entire haunt.
Oh, come on.
It's things like that
when you say a haunt, do you mean like a haunted house? Or?
Yes, like when you're walking through, like a jump out scary place.
Halloween Horror Nights at Universal, which I've done twice.
Oh my, how did you fare?
I did fine because I can like literally get myself into a spot where I'm like, they're going to come and just don't scream and be okay. And they'll still get me sometimes, but I'm okay. Jared, my husband, who loves scary shit, screams like a little baby.
Yeah, but
every time they come out, he's like, ah! Like I've never heard him scream like that. I'm like, oh my God. But
it's so cute though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is really funny. And like, I'm obsessed. Okay, I'm going to pitch this right here, right now on this podcast because I think you would love it. Maybe we're writing this together.
Okay, I'm ready for it.
I have this idea that I'm obsessed with like, who are these people that work at these seasonal places? Who are they? Yeah. They're definitely aspiring actors.
Oh, yeah.
What is it like? What do they do after work? Do they go out and drink every night? Like, do they go out and party, or do they like save their voices because they have to like scream the next day? Like, what's the hierarchy? Like, if you're one of the people that gets to walk the street with a chainsaw, is that bigger than like just being kind of like a zombie in the corner?
Right.
And then like, Last of Us, like there was a Last of Us house last year. There was just one girl that got to play the main girl from Last of Us. And she just kept going, look over there. look over there. Look over there. And I'm like, how many girls went up against her for that? And
Just
then
to
she
scream,
got
look
it.
over
Like, I
there.
want to see the audition process. Then I want to see what they do when Halloween packs up. Are they all going to a Santa's village? Are they all going to work on the next thing?
You never know.
What are they working on? What's the seasonal life of these? I mean, they're the modern day. Is carny? Are we not allowed to say carny anymore? Like they're the
Yeah, but I
modern day
love carnies.
carnival workers. You know, like
Yes.
season to season, you're like going and you're creating these like immersive experiences for people. But what's going on behind the scenes?
Oh, yeah.
And I want to see a sitcom or a docuseries about it.
And please write in.
Tell us if you're
Yes.
somebody that works on one of those or you have been.
Who's the bee?
I
LPN at
need to know.
gmail.com. Hit us up.
Yes,
I would
yes.
love to find out more information.
And so
about
anyway,
this.
I didn't mean to interrupt your whole thing about spooky season. I do like those haunted houses, but I never have seen anybody film the whole thing.
I just think it's a bitchy move.
That's insane.
I think in the same way that it's like, where are you going to put this? You know, I feel like I saw a meme a while ago that was like, can we just all collectively stop making videos of the fireworks that we see? It's like, when are you going back and looking at those videos?
It's never going to look as good.
It's never going to look as good. Why are we taking videos of it? Just be present. And if you're going through haunt, be present.
Yeah.
Let them scare you.
I will say I am the bitch at a concert who will take like a 30-second video of a song I like because I'll like send it to a friend.
Fine.
And
Yes.
but like when people are just videotaping the whole concert too, I'm like, imagine if you just were here. Like,
right?
It's so
or
crazy.
seeing like the older people, because I will say I go to a lot of like yacht rock shows.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it is filled with a lot of much older people. I remember sitting behind someone that she actually just had a whole iPad. It was you
That's
could
so
see me
boomer.
just it was
Oh
just
my
a
God.
big iPad. It was like I can't see anything, but can you put your iPad
down? Like,
I know you have a phone. Why not just use the phone?
I know.
But, you know, it's things like this that I find myself that I just like, oh, I've got these rules that I've created. But I don't think it's that insane of a rule that you shouldn't have your phone out and recording. And God forbid the light is on your phone.
Yeah.
I'm walking behind this woman and I got to a point that I was like, Jeff, just like, let's stand off to the side. We need to let people go in front of us. Like, I couldn't even walk behind her anymore. I was getting so frustrated.
That is crazy.
So frustrated because like let me be in it. And if you're very
It's also not
scared-
going to scare you on your phone.
No, and I think that's the point because they're so scared, so they want like a separation. Then don't
Then
go
this
in the
isn't for you.
haunt. I don't
And
know what to tell
everything
you.
is not for everybody.
Thank you.
And everything is not for everybody. And
Thank
so you maybe just can't
you.
do haunts. Sorry
No,
about that.
And
sorry about that.
Sorry, not sorry. But also,
What other preparations are you doing for this spooky season?
here's the thing, because I've got my 31 for 31, and it's really difficult because when you love spooky season, you want to get as many spooky movies in as you can. But how dare they over at Netflix, you bastards?
Uh-oh.
They had to drop Love is Blind in the middle of our spooky month. And I'm like, don't do this to me. You know I have to watch this. And now I'm just like desperately trying to find times when my husband's not around so I can watch Love is Blind and not have to answer the millions of questions of why I watch this drivel. The answer is because I enjoy it.
It's so funny because I wonder what the Venn diagram is of Jackie's, of people who are super into spooky 31 for 31 and love absolute trash. I'm sure there are many people in the center, but I bet marketing people are like, boys watch Halloween horror movies and girlies love the romance on Love is Blind. And so they're like, perfect. We'll give ladies something for spooky month. And it's like, no. Ladies are out here loving the horror.
Yeah, we're loving it. Oh my God, are you kidding me? I love my spooky bitches. And I need more time. I need October to be 60 days long.
Well, okay. So do you ever double up and watch 2 in one night so that you can take a night off?
It's the
I just
only
can't
way you
imagine
can.
watching a movie every night for a month. I've never done that in my life.
No, but yesterday we had to watch 4 movies, and I just like I'm like consuming them. And by had to, again, who's
It's
creating
your own
the rules?
rules. It's your own
just
rule.
me.
You're trapped in a prison of your own making.
I am. I certainly am. And Love is Blind is a prison of their own pod making. And I don't, do you watch Love is Blind?
Okay, so my history with Love is Blind is I watched that first season when everybody was in lockdown. And like, of course, I was like the blonde girl everybody hated, and then the crazy couple who's actually one of the ones that stayed together.
Yes.
Remember the guy that
Lauren and Cameron?
Well, Lauren and Cameron, I'm actually not as surprised that they stayed together. I mean, kind of, because I was like, he seems so boring. But the girl that was like a little bit nuts and
Amber and
yes,
so they just had a baby.
Okay. The guy's name was like Chadwick or
Yes,
something weird. And like he had like a bro name, and then it was between her and the blonde, and then the blonde was like devastated, and she almost married the other guy. And then
yes,
yeah, but
Matt.
So
His name is Matt, Amber, and Matt.
Wait, it's not Matt.
Yeah,
it's
these
Matt?
people. Yeah, they just had a kid. The one she was really crazy, but obviously she had
Literally
crazy
was like, no,
eyes.
his name is like Chad, or like, does he have like a nickname?
I think he went by his Barnett. Is his last name.
Yes.
Barnett is his last name.
Barnett. Yeah, Barnett for sure.
Yes.
So Barnett, I remember all that. So I know how it goes, but I have not watched the last few seasons, and I feel like I am behind. But as I've told you before, like I just have such limited TV time. I'm keeping up with 10 Housewives franchises at all times. Against my better judgment, who's creating the rules there? Why can't I just walk away from a franchise I don't like? Dubai's not really doing it for me. Am I watching every episode?
You
I
have
am.
to. You have to do it.
Why have I locked myself in here?
I mean, you're also talking to the person that has watched, 18 seasons of Sister Wives? And they're not even married to him anymore. And I'm still watching the goddamn show. This is our problem, but this is our plight, Kara. We both live in very different worlds of reality trash, and we have to be here to remind each other why we are not watching the other side of the reality trash that we're currently watching. This Love is Blind season is just upsetting me in a myriad of ways.
Okay.
And one of those ways, I mean, now that there's all this stuff that's coming out, and now again, we are recording this episode 10 days
we're
the drop
getting
of
a little bit of a jump. We're doing this a little bit. So if this is old news, I don't know. Calm down.
You know you love it. You want to sit and Love is Blind with us.
We're not here claiming to be the 24-hour news cycle, getting in the newest stories, the freshest juice. But
no,
we do need to give unsolicited advice to the internet and to people that don't know who we are. So here we are.
This headline, Love is Blind, Steven slams fan who suggests he relies on his dog to, quote, satisfy his, quote, sexual needs. Anyway, we're not talking about that. Let's hope that he doesn't.
Are we talking about the peanut butter on the balls or whatever?
Maybe.
Like from American, what was that, from Road Trip or some movie?
Yeah, just...
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. That headline kind of took me for a loop.
That really took me out.
Psoriatic arthritis symptoms can be unpredictable.
I had joint pain, and I couldn't move like I used to.
I needed relief.
I got Cosentyx.
It helped me move better.
Cosentyx secukinumab is prescribed for people 2 years of age and older with active psoriatic arthritis. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentyx. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur, like tuberculosis or other serious bacterial, fungal, or viral infections. Some are fatal. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms like fevers, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, had a vaccine or plan to, or if inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop or worsen. Serious allergic reactions and severe eczema-like skin reactions may occur. Learn more at 1-844-COSENTYX or Cosentyx.com.
Ask your rheumatologist about Cosentyx.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistant's assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
No, I really wanted to bling. I wanted to ring it up. And maybe it's because I'm talking about someone who is very rich. And if you watch Love is Blind this season, you know exactly whom I'm talking about. And that is Leo.
Oh.
And he just kept talking about how rich he was. And he's like, I just want somebody that's going to like me for me. And not just because, like, I'm insanely rich.
Okay,
and,
wait. Do you know how he has his money?
Okay, yes, I do.
Okay.
And did he just say it, like, as a throwaway thing, like in the 3rd episode or something?
Oh,
that
God.
It not only does he come from generational wealth, all of his family died. And he's like, I hate to say this, doesn't seem like that sad about it. He's like, yeah, my family died. Like, it's like, everybody like died, but now I'm like really, really rich. And the way he said it, I'm like, maybe it's because he's compartmentalizing and he doesn't want to get into this.
Right, on TV.
And he doesn't want to go through it. But part of me and the way that you watch how he continues to act as time goes on, I don't know if I am so sure, because what ends up happening is he's between two women. One is, and you can tell, even though they don't talk about looks, she is obviously, the way she talks about herself and her life, she's obviously very, very attractive, because she talks about how she's always been with like athletes or stars or like people that like take care of her. And she loves to have someone take care of her, and she wants someone to pay for her entire life. And she's very clear about that. And here, don't get me wrong, I don't think that's a bitchy thing. I think that like,
if that's what you want, and you're saying it,
it, good for you, bitch. Good for you. And then he was between her and another person that I feel like he would not have been as attracted to. And she even said, I feel like he's the kind of guy I would have to leave makeup on when I go to sleep at night.
And I just Googled this guy.
Yeah, right. He's fine. He's
good thing you have money, I guess.
And especially because
I mean, he's like cute enough. I mean, I'm not saying he's
not
like
for the personality,
but
not for
with
the
personality that offers nothing except everybody wants my money.
Yes, and the fact that when the other girl tries to choose someone else, even though he's definitely going to choose the other woman, he decides to like gaslight the hell out of her, tell her just over and over again, I don't know if I've ever seen a grown man act like this before. He just kept being like, you can't, no, like you can't, you will not break up with me. You will not break up. Like,
they haven't seen each other yet.
They hadn't even seen each other yet. And she's crying, going like, I guess, yeah, you're right. Like, I guess I can't break. And I think the reason why I'm bringing this up is that like, if someone tells you you can't get out of the relationship when you try to break up with them, and you haven't even been chosen yet. I'm so happy that the editors decided for some reason not to follow their story onto Mexico. And I don't know why, but apparently he did choose the other girl. And spoiler alert, they ended up going on their own trip to Miami because here's the thing, Kara, he's rich. So he takes her to Miami and then she breaks up with him.
Does he have any money?
You know, it's like, what is he going to do with her?
It's like, I get one thing. I get it. I guess I get it if you're like, listen, I've worked really hard. I started my own company. I had this cool idea and it made a ton of money. And sometimes I worry in dating that people have Googled me and see that I have money and that's what they're after. That's like one thing. Sure. It sounds like this guy's making it his whole fucking personality.
And if you don't want people to only like you because of that, why bring it up? Like, I feel like in this instance, it's like maybe sure, after you get to know someone more, you bring it up when you're talking about like finances, when you get to those kind of conversations. But I just, man, the whole time. And then for him to act like a child, you can't. No, you can't. You can't. He was just like, I have to have the decision. The decision has to be mine. It has to be mine, even though he was going
and I cannot get rejected on national television.
Exactly.
What a psycho. That says so much. And I hope that the other girl sees that. I mean, she won't. I was going to say, I hope she sees it and goes, oh, wait, that's like a red flag about who you are. But she doesn't care. She wants a guy that's going to like pay for everything.
But then I will also say that woman that was like, I don't want to have to like deal with like having to have makeup on when I go to sleep at night. No one wants to feel that way.
Yeah.
But then what she does is she ends up meeting up with this other dude and he is much shorter than she imagined, and she can't get fucking past it.
Oh my God.
She just keeps bringing up these digs, keeps saying things about him. Why go on a show called Love is Blind if you don't really fucking think that it's going to be blind for you?
Yeah.
Why? Why would you try to do it?
But also everybody just needs to get over the height thing.
It's
so stupid.
It's so stupid. Who cares?
Yeah.
Genuinely, who cares? And if you do, okay, fine. That's all good. Everybody has their own opinions. Don't go on Love is Blind.
Yeah.
If it's that much of a hang up for you, don't go on the show.
Yeah.
So I just feel like she ended up kind of being the bitch in the situation.
Uh-oh. Yeah. Don't go on Love is Blind and have a height problem. You know what? Give the short kings a chance.
I love a short king. Are you kidding me?
It just like doesn't matter. I feel like my husband's like an inch and a half taller than me.
Well,
Maybe.
also you're a taller
But I'm
woman
tall.
as well, so that was never an issue for
Well,
you.
no, I will say, like, when I was like an idiot 20-something, I was like, I don't know, he's kind of short. And then I'd still like make out with short, like I'd hook up with short guys.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
all the time,
like,
yeah. That was never an
when
issue.
you're horny, height doesn't matter, baby.
That's the thing, you know? And I think it's why I like shows like Love is Blind, because I want people to
The
find
idea is
personality.
neat, you know?
Yes.
It's not like, because like, it's like Married at First Sight was so weird because it's like, don't you just get married?
Yeah,
Or
but
do you even
they're
know
all-
each other?
They're all set up by like a bunch of experts, and you go through all this like process.
Okay,
of,
so it's like
it's a
they'll like
love
this,
match.
they'll like that.
Yes,
Okay.
that's why actually Married at First Sight is kind of my
Is it good?
favorite
Does
of
it
all
work?
of them. Sometimes it does.
See, I thought it was just like a freak show thing.
You know what it
I
is?
thought it was like, let's watch and see what happens.
No, it's actually the opposite because it's so interesting. It's about what you think you want.
And you never want what you think you want.
So many people think like, I know 100% exactly the kind of partner, exactly what I need, exactly what I want. And then they'll say all these things, or they'll say things they think they're supposed to want.
Yeah.
And then they get it and they're
Totally.
not happy.
I had a friend when I was in my like 20s that was online dating, and she was like, money doesn't mean anything. Money doesn't matter to me at all. And she was very successful, very high up in her job, and made a lot of money, and was like, money doesn't matter to me. And I'm like, yes, it does.
It does.
And she's like, and now I just get these guys that like don't have jobs, or like they you know, work retail or something like that. And I'm not saying anything against retail. I'm just saying, if that
For her and where she is and what she wants.
where you are and what you want is like that you are not willing to go out with a guy that runs a fruit cart vendor on the street in New York City, then I guess you're
Money does
probably
matter
then money matters
to
to
you.
you a little bit. It's a everything's a sliding scale.
Of course.
I'm not saying it matters to you a 10, but don't say it matters to you a 0.
That's the
That's
thing.
crazy.
Because you want to say the best about you.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you're going through that kind of process, you kind of have to say the worst about you instead.
Yeah, and guys are always like on those matchmaking shows and stuff because they pick with their dicks, and like they're not at all picking, like, you know. And then it's like,
And so they need to go do some soul searching.
Yeah.
And like maybe those questions had never been asked to them before, and they never really
Yeah.
thought about it. And they were kind of just, you know, whether you're following your dick or your pussy, you're just kind of like fucking about the town. And that works for some people.
and do that if you want, but then don't be like, I want a wife. But like, then you're only picking the person who like clearly doesn't like you, doesn't like, only wants like maybe stability you can offer her financially or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking specifically of like a show I've never even watched, but I've heard a lot about, of like Seema from Mumbai, like the Indian matchmaker.
Oh,
like she was
yes.
like, these guys were like, I want a traditional Indian woman and I want this and that, but then they were like not picking that.
Right.
And it's like, well you got to do some soul searching.
Yeah, go figure out what you
Yeah.
actually want.
Yeah.
And it's difficult. You have to know yourself. I highly recommend therapy as
Yeah.
a way to try and figure out if you have no idea where to start. Just saying.
Yes. Did we have any other unsolicited advice? Well, we wanted to really quickly touch on someone who we both really love. And
Really
her
love.
name is, you know what? She's also from my home state of Connecticut.
Oh my God.
We're talking about the one and only Martha Stewart, babies. And this week, she admitted that, first of all, she said something like, cheating is not okay. And then the documentarian goes, didn't you cheat on your husband? She goes, yeah, well, he never found out about that.
The phrase was, young women, listen to my advice. If you're married and your husband starts to cheat on you, he's a piece of shit. Get out of that marriage. And yes, it was just right after. Didn't you have an affair early on? Yeah, but I don't think Andy ever knew about that. Is literally what her response was.
Oh my God, I love
And
her.
it-
She's a contradiction wrapped in a riddle. I love
just love her so much. And I know that we shouldn't celebrate that.
I know.
And the fact that, yes, she was divorced a long time ago. So really it's not, I guess.
Is the man still alive?
I'm not sure if he's still alive, but he did marry his assistant right after they got divorced. So
right.
I imagine she's coming at this from some personal trauma that she has also lived through. And she was the first person in her family to ever get a divorce. So that was like a really big issue for her at the time.
Okay.
But also like that, I guess that was more in a time period when she was expected to stay rather than to get a divorce because of it. And she didn't stay.
You know what a quick Google tells me? That today, Andrew Stewart is the publisher emeritus of Fieldstone Publishing, a publisher that specializes in field guides, gardening books, and more. They could have been such a power couple if they'd stayed together.
Well, I mean,
he was cheating, so I'm glad she left, but he's publishing the gardening books. She's making the gardening books. She's making the cookbooks. I mean, like, Come on.
Match
No end
made
to
in
the money.
homemaking heaven.
No end to the money. I mean, I love Martha Stewart. She seems like she smokes weed. She hangs out with Snoop.
Oh,
She's
she
fun.
definitely smokes a lot
She looks
of weed.
fucking hot as hell, too. She's like in her 80s.
Oh,
My husband the other day goes, do you know Martha Stewart's in her 80s? I go, yeah, and look, and you probably want to have sex with her. Look at her.
Yeah,
She looks
dude.
great.
The thirst traps she drops are, I mean, it's the effortless, like open mouthed, like
Yeah, she's like
talent.
a timeless beauty, and like kind of. I bet you she doesn't realize how like if you pose with your mouth open, this is what people. I bet she.
I
does.
think she does.
You think she knows?
I think
You think she's
does.
like, I want all these guys to imagine me just like giving a
having mouth
BJ.
open. You know,
Oh
I
my
think she does.
God, the
for
mouth
me.
parted. Yeah, I mean it's like Brigitte Bardot. I mean she's got some role models there for those kind of pics.
Yeah, dude.
But good for Martha. I don't think she's the bitch.
No.
It's all because it's what you're saying. Like, it's a different time period. Like, she's right. Like, if men are cheating, like, it's probably habitual cheating. And, like, you know, women can habitually cheat as well. But I think she was like, I got out of what was going to be a dead end. And then when they turned it back on her, she's like, I had a little thing. I had a dalliance. And then I stayed with my husband for a long time. Sounds like her husband was maybe more doing it all the time. Maybe I'm being a hypocrite and a bitch. Who fucking.
Uh-oh. Well, you know, this is the place to do it and to be it, Kara.
Yes, baby. Should we
move on to some solicited advice?
To a call. We have a couple of voicemails and emails to read. So let me just pull up the first one. Okay, this one is really interesting to me, and I can't wait to hear what you have to say about it.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Let's give it a listen.
Thank you for calling Who's the Bitch? To listen to voicemail, Who's the Bitch? Beep.
Hey there, folks. I'm calling because I'd like to know if I am a bitch. This story here is my roommate. A few years ago, we were roommates. No longer roommates now. Let's call her Sarah. At the time, was seeing a guy named, let's call him John. Sarah and John had been together for about a year and a half at this point, and Sarah had been telling me that she was a little unhappy in the relationship. She had some doubts, and things just weren't going super well. Following that, for a while, me and some of Sarah's friends started to notice that she was having a pretty flirtatious relationship with someone we knew. Let's call him George. Sarah and George, if we were at a party all together, sometimes they would kind of cuddle up on the couch. They were very, very physically getting intimate, I would say. I never saw anything super sexual happen. They never kissed in front of me. But there was definitely some emotional and physical intimacy going on. Now, Sarah was still in a relationship with John at the time. And so I just, kind of let it go. It wasn't really my business. Eventually, Sarah told John about what was going on with this guy, George, how she was unhappy in the relationship, and, that she just wanted to be honest with John about this weird relationship she was having on the side. John was so angry, but not at Sarah. He was angry at me and Sarah's friends because we didn't tell him what we were seeing. And, he was hurt, obviously, but I just don't know if that was my job to disclose this quote-unquote infidelity to John, who wasn't even my friend. Sarah was my roommate, and John is just Sarah's partner, so I knew him, but it wasn't like he was a close friend, and I'm not a part of the relationship, so I don't know, it's not really my issue, but John still does not like me, and I know for a fact. Sarah and John are still together a few years later now, but I can tell that John is never going to be very happy with me. And I want to know, am I a bitch for not telling my roommate's boyfriend that she might have been moving out of that relationship and flirting with another guy? I don't know. Maybe I am. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Oh my God, I want to know what happened with George.
Call.
Where did George go? What happened with George?
Oh, what happened with George? This is so interesting. And I love that this came in this week because have you ever heard of this book, All Fours, that Miranda July wrote?
No.
It's like, it just came out a few months ago and it's been circulating. And it's kind of like.
Is it a dog's kind of book?
No.
Oh.
It's like a sexual awakening kind of book,
very
but for a
different.
woman who's like in her mid 40s, like mid to late 40s, and sort of about like, and just sort of about this, like, you know, sexual reawakening journey she goes on, like, in her life, and, you know, has to grapple with if she's happy in her marriage and, like, her life as a mom and stuff like that. But she went on Esther Perel's podcast, which is called Where Should We Begin? Which she's a relationship. If you guys ever want, like, relationship advice about extremely serious sexual matters from a professional who has the most beautiful Belgian accent, I would listen to Esther Perel like read me a fucking vegan food menu. But she was like talking about how in America we are so obsessed with
Mating in Captivity. I was like, how do I know Esther Perel?
Yeah.
Mating in Captivity.
And her podcast is about like reawakening desire, all kinds of things. Like, it's very interesting. In her podcast, she just does a therapy session with a couple for one session. You don't hear over and over what's going on with them. You just go into one session. And but she talks about how in American culture specifically, we're obsessed with like how the difference between an emotional affair and a physical affair. Why is there a difference? Why does it matter to you the penis going into the vagina? If someone is lying on a couch with your partner, like getting close,
canoodling,
like
an intimacy.
And I don't want to give away anything about the book, but that's like something happens like that in the book where there's no penetration. But what happens in this book and like what some people get into, it's so much more intimate. It should make you so much more mad as a partner in some ways. But I just think it's very interesting that the caller is going, I mean, nothing sexual happened. They're still having like a full thing. But girl, it is not your problem.
No, you are not the
Can
bitch.
we just
out
right up top? Sorry, I got
not.
so into my book and comparing this to this other like idea about like physical intimacy versus emotional. But you are not the bitch. That is so far out of your fucking purview. I would actually say that if you had said something to him, you would have been the bitch. The only thing you maybe could have done is asked Sarah and been like, hey, it feels like something's going on with you and George. Maybe say something to John. But you know what? She got to it anyway. She got to it. She said something to John.
Right. And the fact that they're still together, the fact that he was not upset with Sarah and George, but just upset with all of Sarah's friends, I think also goes to show where his brain is. The fact that he is so in a denial of any culpability or being anything to do with why she would have an emotional relationship with someone else, that it's no, it's everyone else's fault. Oh, no, it's everyone else's fault. And it's, we see it all the time. I know we'll easily throw around the word narcissist. It is just when it is everybody else's fault except for your own, it's always a very eye-opening thing to find out about a person.
It's also like it's between you and Sarah. It's like, it's almost like I don't even really agree that much with like the way people go after the other woman or whatever. It's like, this is an issue between you and your partner. Your partner cheated. And if the other woman happens to be your best friend, okay, we'll talk then. But like, this is between John and Sarah. John does not need to have any feelings towards George, except maybe like, you don't have to like him if he was having this little like, moment with your girl. This has nothing to do with anybody else. It's between the two of you. And you can't face that. And that is why you're lashing out at other people.
Right. Which is why you are not the bitch in this scenario. Because I do say, I'm trying to think of like specific, but I know that like when people write in, I know I will know it when we see it, that I do feel that there is a time and a place to at least encourage someone to be like, maybe you should tell them that you're cheating.
Yeah.
Maybe like to talk to the person that is in the middle of the relationship.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that when it's your roommate and it's your roommate's boyfriend, that's the time for you.
Yeah.
To do
and
that.
you're not witnessing a full-on affair, but like.
But even then, if you were,
But you said things are getting
Sarah.
very intimate, and I would say something to Sarah.
I would be talking to Sarah about this.
I'd be like,
never
this
be
feels
talking
like
to
it's
John.
going beyond just like a couple of pals hanging on the couch. This feels like, And you could even go, even though the other thing is, it's like you're not even good friends with John. But even if you were good friends with John and Sarah was your better friend, I would still be like, I would go to Sarah and go, you're kind of putting me in a weird position because I'm friends with your partner and like it does feel like something going on here. Like, let's talk. What's going on with you? I bet Sarah would have loved that, to have actually like heard, I'm not having the best time in my relationship right now. And
right.
You encouraging her to talk to her partner about it.
Right. Because like, there's something going on. If you are having this relationship with George, then something is obviously amiss between Sarah and John in this scenario. But I have been the bitch before when I've seen a friend of mine definitely overstepping out of bounds of their relationship, of doing the pull aside, not in front of the other person, but they're like, hey, you want to go to the bathroom? And doing the, girl, what's up? What's going on here? What are we doing here? Of the like, I have been the friend.
Oh, like it, because it looks like you're about to cheat or something?
Yeah, a friend is about to cheat and doing the like, I mean, that was back when I was more of a Popov Jackie of like, girl, what you doing? What's happening?
Yeah.
What's going on?
If it's like a drunk friend too, I'll just be like, get over here. Come here. I'm like pulling you away.
Yes.
But like, I'm sure I've done that too.
Right.
Like, I'm sure I've been like, come on. But I don't know. It's like, I feel bad for Sarah in this situation. Like,
but I also feel bad for the roommate because I feel like it's not fair that Sarah is doing it in front of other people and then not in like talking to them about it as well, of like, hey, I know I'm putting you in a really weird situation.
Yeah.
Because when you are cheating with another person in front of your friends, you're putting all of them in a very weird situation.
Yeah, but she's not friends with John.
Right. And she's also
so you owe him nothing.
And
baby.
also she's not quote unquote cheating in some people's eyes. In mine eyes, it is a cheat.
That's a cheat.
It's if I came in and I saw someone lounging upon my husband, like they're drunk and like
whispering, giggling, anything like that. Are you kidding? It's almost worse. It's like almost
It's because again, it's an intimacy.
Yeah,
there is an intimacy there that. I'm not saying that my husband can't have that intimacy with other people. It's just that, like, I'd like to know if he does.
Yeah.
I'd like to be aware of it.
No, totally.
And I'm a very flirtatious person. So, like, I understand but I also have talked to my husband about boundaries.
Yeah.
And what our boundaries are and where and how we feel about that because we're both fairly flirtatious people.
Yeah.
So I just want to say to Sarah's roommate, thank you so much for writing in. And you are not the bitch.
You are not the bitch.
In this situation. You are definitely getting gaslit and the shit put on you from John.
And you know what? And I bet you with some space, I don't know how long this has been because it sounds like they stayed together and George is out of the picture now. That's why I was saying I kind of feel bad for Sarah. I'm like, did things really improve with this guy?
Yeah,
this guy that blames
everybody
everybody else?
Yeah.
Hopefully they improved and whatever. And maybe that George thing was like Sarah doing a kind of immature cry for help about her relationship.
But also, Sarah, if you're listening, I would say maybe think about your partner and did you know that your partner was blaming all of your friends for this? Because I don't know if I would want to stay with someone. I'd be like, nah, I'm the one that made the decision. I did it. I was doing it.
And hopefully in hindsight, he realizes that he was being an idiot, John.
I hope.
By doing that.
Hopefully something must have worked out between Sarah and John and maybe they got couples therapy or something where they were able to talk through this because this needs to be discussed.
This summer, Instacart is bringing back your favorites from 1999 with prices from 1999. That means 90s prices on juice pouches that ought to be respected, 90s prices on boxed mac and cheese, and 90s prices on ham, cheese, and cracker lunches. Enjoy all those throwbacks and more at throwback prices, only through Instacart. $4.72 maximum discount per $10 of eligible items. Limit 3 offers per order. Expires September 5th while supplies last. Discount based on CPI comparison.
I will say, like, this is a common thing of like blaming your girlfriend's friends.
Yes.
Like blaming your girlfriend's friends for, she was out too late. Oh, she's drinking. Oh, every time she hangs out with you, she comes back and she's mad at me or whatever.
Nothing makes me
this
more
kind of bullshit
angry.
where it's like, these are just men that are afraid to talk to their partners and be open and honest about communication and say like, XYZ, instead of they're just like, who can I fucking yell at and who can I belittle? And guess what? It's your girlfriends. It's probably never any of your male friends.
But also, I've been yelled
Was he mad at any male friends? I'd love to know that.
Oh, yeah, I would love to know that.
I would love to know if he was like, hey, Steve, you're George's good friend. You knew what was going on. What the fuck,
Why didn't you do anything?
Bro code.
No, I just have also been yelled at by many a girlfriend and a wife because for a long time I was a drunk and I hung out with a bunch of dudes. And so they're like, well, and then when they're hanging out with you, they come home shit-faced. And I'm like, they come home shit-faced no matter what.
Do you think I'm funneling it into their mouths?
What do you think I'm doing that's different? But, that's neither here nor there. Not the bitch.
Not the bitch, baby. All right. Okay, this is so interesting too, and I'm excited for you to hear.
Very excited.
This is an email from a listener that I don't think gave us a name. Let me double check, but I don't think she wanted us to say her name. And so I'm not going to.
Oh, also for anybody that if you guys ever write in or leave us a voicemail and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I shouldn't have said this person's name, or oh, I shouldn't have said this, or oh, I need to change that. Always hit us up because we never want to get you guys in trouble. We're down. We're here for you.
Yeah. Like especially if you're hanging out with Jackie and she's making you get drunk and then you're like, oh my God, I left a voicemail and I shouldn't have done that and it's all Jackie's fault.
All my
fault.
fault.
Just shoot us an email and go, hey, I left a voicemail and I don't really actually want you guys to play that.
It's all
But
Jackie's
also
fault.
we will keep it completely anonymous. The person here, we'll just call her BG. So she writes, my friend got pregnant with a guy she barely knew from a dating app. I don't think she was actively using protection because she's usually easily talked into things by guys and has not been safe in the past. By that, I mean she has had 2 abortions already due to not being careful. When she told me, she said she didn't think she could get pregnant, so that's why I don't think she was doing that much to be safe. Her other friend recently had a kid, but is with the dad and good with kids, and she's a kindergarten teacher and went to school for that. I think she feels pressure from society to be married and have kids because we're almost 40.
I hear you.
I just never have seen her as a sacrificing person. She's never had a pet, and her parents still help her so much. I'm assuming that she means financially. She has a terrible credit score, and every time I tell her things for financial education resources or help, she never follows through. She used to drink a lot, and I thought that was part of her issues, but she stopped drinking so much for a while now, and obviously isn't at all because she's pregnant, but she hasn't gotten more responsible or mature by much. I talked to her about changing some habits that she has been lazy about to get her prepared for having a baby, and she said now is her time to relax before the kid comes. I said maybe it would be less stressful to slowly incorporate more into your life so that it doesn't seem like so much later. She says she's going to get child support from a guy that isn't even answering her phone calls and is avoiding his mom that knows about the pregnancy. She hasn't seen or spoken to him in weeks now. Her parents said that they would help her, but they're in their 70s, so I'm worried about how much they can do. Am I a bitch for thinking that my friend should get an abortion? She knows I think that, but says she's going to have the kid. I'm just so worried about the kid if she has it. I am only one person and I can't help her pay for much or babysit, so she's mostly going to be dependent on her parents, and I'm afraid that will not be enough. She doesn't seem to realize how expensive and how much work it is going to be and all the hormonal changes. She already struggles with severe depression and anxiety. I don't have kids, but I have a niece and nephew, and I'm close with other friends' kids and always have been. It just scares me because I've seen so many kids get neglected or get a shitty life they don't deserve. How can I be a good friend and encourage her and not be so worried? Also, my mom passed away and my dad has other kids to take care of. So maybe I'm just seeing the situation from my point of view, and she has more help than I had growing up. I don't know. I feel crazy. I want to be a good friend, but she should be more responsible. There's another life in her hands. Signed BG. So this is a toughie.
This is a toughie.
Okay, listen, I'm going to first and foremost say I am pro-abortion on demand anytime you want one.
Yes.
Anytime you need one.
Yes.
You can have an abortion for whatever reason.
Yes.
So, I mean, I feel a little bit of like, oh, she's not been safe and she had abortions because she wasn't careful. And, I don't know. I don't want to put a lot of judgment on that because
there are lots of reasons and lots of things happen.
But you know your friend, and if you're saying she's having I'm going to take you at your word. You're saying this girl is having abortions because she's simply being talked into things by guys and is not using protection.
Right.
Oh, this is tough because I know what you're saying, and people there are a lot of people rapidly approaching 40 that are doing things they think they need to be doing, and it's just not for them, and it's just not something that's going to fit into their lifestyle. People also do not realize, despite the never-ending catalog of movies, podcasts, television shows about having children, people still somehow do not understand how life-altering it is.
Very difficult.
It's just different. It's just your life is completely different. Like, I am a person who really tries to manage my social life. I still go out all the time. I go to parties. I still get drunk. I still have fun.
Yes.
But
you're also an amazing parent.
I'm a good parent, but it's also very difficult. It's not the same. Like, there was a time back in 10 years ago, Jackie could call me and go, I'm going to be here in 10 minutes. Let's go and have a meal and maybe day drink.
And
you can't do that
drunk.
anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
You just can't do that. You like, if a friend's having a wedding, a destination wedding, I need to know about it 6 months in advance. I got to get childcare. I got to know. You know what I mean? It's like, there's just not a lot of spontaneity in your life anymore. And, I'm getting the feeling that you feel like your friend is like kind of a person that is really just like not grasping that. And
right.
I'm going to be honest, there's not much you can do to convince them of that.
You cannot tell someone what to do.
Yeah.
You cannot force her to do it. And if you did force her to do it and it's not the decision she wants, it will ruin not only your friendship, but it could ruin her life. And I will say that, yes, everything you're saying about this person, she probably shouldn't be having a kid.
Yeah.
But I will say, if she's already decided to have it, and this is the way in which it is going, I feel that as a friend, if you can get past that and be able to be there for her as much as you can, do that. Or you might need to distance yourself.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I've had friends in the past that have made huge life-altering decisions that I did not agree with. And all that ended up happening was that I needed to take a step back because I was so upset with the poor choices that they were making with their life. And I would talk to them about, and like, you've already said, like, I don't know if this is a really good idea, but maybe coming at her with the idea of like, it's either an abortion or you're going to be a bad parent is probably not what she needs right now. If she's already decided to have this child, you've already told her how you're feeling, maybe open up the conversation a little bit further if that's something that you would want to do. Because the way that you're looking at her life, you do feel that some of this backlash is going to be towards you. I understand. Again, some of the friends that I've had were people that I had worked with and people that were large portions of my life that I did not agree with what they were choosing to do. And I'm not friends with any of those people anymore.
Yeah.
And it was just because we didn't look at life the same way. And in the same way that, like, you know, a Married at First Sight or like a Love is Blind, when it comes down to the foundations of a relationship, and I mean that including friendship. A friendship is just a relationship. You usually want to have the same foundations of what you believe your life should be and can be.
Yeah.
And as someone that is rapidly approaching 40 and does not have children, does not have plants, does not have fur babies, has almost nothing, believe me, I understand the pressure that this person is facing. I get it. I cried through my entire birthday this year because I feel like I don't matter and my existence doesn't matter because I'm not a parent.
Jackie!
And that's what's told to us, Kara. It is what is put into our brains.
You feel that way because that is not true.
It is what
you mean a lot to a
told.
lot of people.
I appreciate you saying that.
And
but I'm just saying I understand.
Yes. But here's what I'll also say, because I work for an organization called CASA. I'm a court-appointed special advocate for foster youth. So, and when I was doing my training, there was a lot of stuff about going into someone else's home and withholding your judgment. Because what you might think in a house, oh, this house doesn't have a carpet on the ground and the toys are everywhere and this and that, that's your shit. That doesn't mean the house is unsafe. You know, like so I know
maybe this woman will completely change. You like also having a kid, at least I've heard, biologically or adopting or just becoming a parent in some fashion is not only so life-changing that like it's going to change your life no matter what, but also I think it does force your brain into at least facing some of it, I would assume.
Yeah.
But I know that that's not the case for everybody.
No, I mean, listen, if you think it's going to get to the point where this child is going to be criminally neglected, then yes, I would obviously urge you to call authorities. But like, I think it's like, you just have to kind of, what you might be envisioning for yourself as a mom or how you think that parenthood should go, that's just not necessarily that's not how everybody does it, and that doesn't mean that it's wrong.
Right.
You know, like you're completely correct, BG, completely correct that it's expensive. There's a lot of a lot of sacrifice, you know, this and that, but like people can learn that and people can change, and there are ways that I think people are excellent at being parents, even if they cannot provide finances, they cannot provide other certain things that we've all been conditioned to say, well, this is why so many people wait to have kids, because they're like, well, I have to have the right job, and I have to find the right partner, and I have to be in a house, and I have to do this. I mean, that's not necessarily everybody's reality, you know? Some people are like, oh, I'm living in a 1-bedroom apartment with my 2 kids, and we love them more than anything in the world, and that's absolutely fine. So I guess what I'm just trying to say is try to a little bit just like be there for your friend and like meet her where she is. But if you are, and I understand you have some like, you know, trauma from your own upbringing and stuff. So if that's like too hard for you, I agree with Jackie on like the step back, you know, or maybe just like kind of try to work on some systems for like allowing her saying stuff like, oh yeah, I'm going to get child support, to just roll off your back. Like, take that as it comes. You know what I mean? Like, it obviously seems like this girl is not going to be getting help from the father of the child.
Right.
You're correct.
You are correct.
Like,
you're very correct.
He's not returning calls unless she's taking this guy to court, which, hey, she should do.
Right.
You know?
And she might need some emotional support while she goes through that. And I think it's also, I think the idea of reserving your judgment is a very important thing of like maybe rather than going in and judging her where she is at, maybe it is more about communicating the trauma you went through from your childhood and what you didn't have and what maybe would be better to have had in your childhood, and like speak from your perspective to her. Because maybe she's not very aware of where necessarily you're coming from and your own specific trauma of what you're so nervous about for becoming a parent.
Yeah. So I guess my answer is like, I don't think you're a bitch for thinking that, because everybody creates thoughts in their heads of they assess the situation and they go, you know, for me, I think the abortion would be the best plan. But this is what she's going to do. You can't make anyone do anything. Like Jackie said, you got to like just support and be her friend. But also, don't try to take on too much. You're only one person, like you said.
And it's not your choice.
You don't need to be paying for stuff. You don't need, but you know, if you're in a position to offer to just, you know what I loved when I had a baby? When I first had a baby, my husband had to go out of town for 2 months while I had a 2-week-old baby. And I also had to go back to work. I just loved a friend that would come over and have wine with me because I couldn't leave the house. Yeah. I'd be like, will you just come over and like watch crappy TV with me and just talk to me? And that was it. It wasn't, you needed to buy me a stroller. You didn't need to, although one friend did do that and I appreciate her a lot. You know, like you don't, it's like a lot of being there for someone who's just like embarking on motherhood is just like, how are you? Is everything okay?
Do you need to take a shower?
Like, yeah. Exactly. So just try to be there for her as much as you can, and try to like turn the volume down a little bit on your own anxiety of watching what she's doing. Right. Because you can't, that's out of your control. You know, what is the mantra of like AA, accept the things that I cannot change and the wisdom to know the difference or whatever. Like you can't change what's going on with her. You are her friend. You have maybe some sway over her, but sounds like she's made her decision. So now you have to decide what's your next move.
And what's your decision. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you so much for writing in. This was a good one.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
But again,
bitchless crime.
But again, abortions for everyone. Abortions all day long.
Yes.
Let's, I think we have time for one more. Should we do one more?
Yeah, let's
voicemail?
get one more in there.
All right, we'll get one more voicemail in.
Thank you for calling Who's the Bitch. to listen to voicemail. Who's the bitch? Beep.
Hello. My name is Abigail, and I had a friend that we'll call Annie. We had a bit of a tumultuous friendship when we met after college. But I always felt like, we had enough good times together that it made up for it. I got married in 2017. She was a bridesmaid. I tried to take a lot of financial burden off of the bridesmaids because I understand it's a big commitment. We paid for as much with the bachelorette party. It was one night, hotel, dinner, everything paid for at the wedding, bachelorette shoes, bridesmaid shoes, hair and makeup, all paid for. Wow. And it was a great time, and we had a great time. And and so again, we lived away, so we were pretty sparsely interacting. She got engaged probably in 2018 and kept hinting at the fact that I would be maybe maid of honor or something like that. But I figured there would be a formal conversation, and there wasn't. She kind of just assumed a lot. And I was going through a really hard time at the major depressive episode. I was not doing well at my job. We were in extreme financial straits because we were house poor, so we were looking for a new house, and we were going through that process at the same time. It was really terrible. And I hadn't been that involved, which I felt like she was getting bitter about, but things really came to a head when I couldn't go to her bachelorette weekend in Nashville because it was going to be hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I didn't have the money. She was not cool about it and said that she had spent a lot on my wedding and I should do this for her. And I felt terrible because I didn't know. And, for a bit of context, I was going through it, but she was also going through it. She had lost her mom many years ago before. And so she was really navigating this solo, this wedding, or she felt like she was. So she kept lashing out at me in little ways over the next few months and, really saying some hurtful things. And I would never say anything hurtful back to her, but I would just be like, hey, I'm going through it right now. Can we not do this right now? Because I hate confrontation. I'm a people pleaser. And also I wanted to take the high road because her wedding was still coming up. So anyways, I drive into the wedding. There was a whole fiasco with the dresses I won't go into, but I get to the wedding. All the bridesmaids are already there helping set up. And so I didn't know there was going to be help set up. I'm the bitch for not checking. So everyone else is there like pitching in, and I just show up at this time that I was told to show up. And they are all hateful. They all hate me. I am the bitch to them. I am the bitch. And so, I get through the day. I do my best. I power through. I put on a smile. I get through the wedding. I try to be the best bridesmaid on that day for her, that I show up and I'm trying to do my best. And she tried to make up with me afterwards a little bit. And she said, sorry, I talked so much shit about you. I'm sorry if anyone said anything to you. And I was like, it's cool, I guess. Anyways, I ended up watching maybe a TikTok a year later or something where someone was talking about cutting people out of your life and just blocking them. And I ended up blocking her from everything, social media, her number, everything. And I want to know if I'm the bitch for that, because ever since then, I'm like, was that too extreme? I have felt a lot of peace from it, but I've also felt some anxiety from it. So am I the bitch for blocking her? Sorry this was so long. There was a lot of context, but I appreciate you both. Thank you.
Love the context.
Okay, Abigail.
Love
no,
it.
we needed the context.
We needed
Thank you.
it.
I kind of want to know about the dress fiasco. So if you'd like to call back and just give me the info
definitely let us know.
What happened with the dresses?
Can I just say out the gate that, like, when it comes to being invited to certain portions of a wedding or different things, and when it comes to money and things like that, can we just be open about this shit? I feel so bad for this person because she, it's difficult to afford a wedding. And some people, like the amount of money that certain people have to put into it, the amount, like some people have to put in more, some people have to do less. It depends on like some weddings you have to travel for, some you don't. And can we just accept that, like, oh yeah, my wedding's in Florida. Not everybody's going to make it. And that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
Oh, my thing's in Nashville. Oh, like, yeah, it's expensive to get here. So it's like, if you can get here, great. And if you can't do it, it's all good. I love you. You love me. Hell yeah. And we'll see each other on the other side. Oh, I like partners aren't invited to a wedding rehearsal dinner. That's fine. You know why? Because you have to pay a lot of money for everything else. And so many people get so bitchy about all the separate things of a wedding when you are a part of it or you're not a part of it. And then you're upset you're not a part of it or you're upset you are a part of it. And it's just, I feel like can we just like blanketly say that like if someone asks you to, let's say, I don't know, like be a maid of honor and you don't have the money or the time to be like, hey, I don't have the money or the time to do this.
Yeah.
And making it acceptable. Like it's so difficult.
Yeah. Like, well, okay. Well, I'll just say I think that the bitch in this is the wedding industrial complex. No, because like, honestly, it's like everybody, and it's getting worse and worse. Like everybody is regressing and weddings have now become like the birthday party that you could have planned for yourself when you were 5.
Yes.
And you're acting like all 5-year-olds being like, you didn't bring the right thing to my birthday. Like that's what I would expect my daughter to do.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it is so insane. It's supposed to be a celebration of your love. Everybody doesn't have to have a monochromatic outfit on. It doesn't all have to look good for the pictures.
Doesn't have to.
Like that's insane. Everybody does not have to be at the bachelorette. Everybody does not have to be at the wedding in your life that loves you. Like I had no bridesmaids for this very reason. I only had my sister. Like I also didn't want to pick between friends, but like.
Or you could have a million of them. The way that I did because I am a people pleaser. And so I had a million of them instead.
Yes. So you can do whatever you want. But like I've also, okay, I'll say this. I've been in weddings where it's wear whatever you want. Just everybody wear purple, wear whatever you want. I've been in weddings where I was the only person in the wedding who was like either unmarried or didn't have like a high paying job. And my friend just goes, I'm just going to get your bridesmaid's dress. She was like, it's $300. It's a drop in the bucket compared to the cost of a wedding. And you're just like, it's fine. And I was like, are you sure? And she was like, and that helped me out so much and was so nice. And because I was flying to her wedding in another state and she knew I was a comedian, like I didn't have the means of
the money.
So it's like the way that people just suddenly stop seeing their friends as people when they get married and are just like, this is all about me. This is all about my week.
My party, my party, my party.
Like, stop it. It's insane. But I will say, and just to go back, it sounds like, first of all, Abigail, you sound very generous. I have never been to a bachelorette party where someone
everything
pays for
was
the hotel.
paid for.
I have never been to I've never been a bridesmaid except the one I just mentioned where my hair and makeup, at that wedding where she paid for my dress, I paid for my hair and makeup. You know what I mean? Like hair and makeup is almost always the girls pay for it. And it's always the dress you pay for. So it's like you did a lot, I feel like. And I would have loved to have heard her specifics about how she spent all this money on yours when it sounds like she did.
She didn't.
But then it's like.
And the fact that she was never fully open, like that Annie was never open with her about what was needed from her and what was like being asked up front.
Yeah. And you're living far away from this friend. And it sounds like she needs a lot of attention. And she's just going to have to pick another friend that is more, it's like in Bridesmaids, the fucking movie.
Yes.
It's like you have this one rich friend that lives right by you that's going to pay for all this shit. Just, have her do all the stuff.
Yes.
And Kristen Wiig was like, her character is like trying to compete. And it's like, just let her, you're not doing well at work. You're a little depressed. Things are going on with you. And your friend should have met you where you were and should have said, that's no problem, babe. Like, I hope everything's going okay with you. Hey, this is happening if you'd like to be there. Hey, this is what time people are getting to set up, but also you could just get here at this time if you don't want to.
And
it sounds like she was setting you up to be punished for ways that you were not meeting her expectations. And that's not okay. And that's toxic. And it sounds like.
And I'm proud of you for creating those boundaries.
Yeah. And I'm going to be honest with you. After my wedding, I cut out a person in my life. Not because of the behavior at the wedding, but I always say a wedding is a great way sometimes to put a button on a friendship.
It certainly is.
It's a great way to say, you know what? You've been with me for this part of my life. Here you are. This friendship is no longer serving me.
Yes.
And in a way that is, It was not at all. And it hadn't been for a long time. And I was kind of forcing it because in a lot of ways, the wedding industrial complex was like, no, your college roommate has to be at your wedding and all these people have to be at your wedding. And you've known each other for this many years. Of course they have to be at the wedding.
No, they don't.
I'm happy that this person was at my wedding. And then I was very the way you said I felt peace about it and anxiety. I can absolutely I feel you on that so hard because same. I feel so at peace now that this person's out of my life because I was always the person that was trying to repair.
Right.
And I'm so happy. And I'm really glad that you feel that as well. And it's normal to feel the anxiety about it as well.
Of course, because creating boundaries is difficult. It is an uncomfortable thing to do, to stand up for yourself and say, I will not be treated this way.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud of you because it is difficult to do. And of course, the anxiety is going to come because we're always going to be like, oh God, was it the right choice? Oh, was this too much? But here's the thing. I feel like we all, especially all of us people pleasers, I'm including you in this, Abigail, because I feel like you're a part of us when it comes to even just you going out of your way to make sure no one was uncomfortable at your wedding financially, that you were able to take care of those things. And it's hard for people pleasers to create those boundaries.
Yeah.
It is so difficult because you're like, oh God, I went too far. Oh God. You know what? She went too far. She went way too far and she probably wasn't second guessing it. The fact that you're like, and then they all think I'm a bitch now. It's that.
Or when she apologized to you, it was, sorry, I was talking shit about you. Did you hear about that? You should have gone to her and said, I'm sorry, I was feeling XYZ during my wedding. I think I let the whole thing get away from me. I apologize. I said some things to other people about you. I don't know if that got back to you. I was saying this and I feel bad for saying that and I'm sorry, or not even get into the specifics of the shit talk, but that's a horrible apology.
Yeah.
But I will also say, I am not a person that rips the Band-Aid off like that just does a block. Except in the situation after my wedding, it was it had been so many times of fighting and trying to repair it. And I was just like, now I think I'm really done. And for you, you just ripped it off. And that's okay. And I think you're having anxiety because you didn't give her maybe any feedback. But I don't know, is she trying to get to you through other people?
And also,
she's trying to reach you?
It sounds like she doesn't really want any feedback or deserves your feedback. I feel like at this point, I feel like the showing up when everybody was already doing anything and it's just oh, now you're showing up. I feel like I know exactly that feeling of when she showed up for her. And then that is when I'd be like, oh, we're not friends. If you're going to treat me this way. You were going through a
hard time and your friend chose her wedding, basically.
It's a party. At the end of the day,
it doesn't take up 24 hours of your day. You can still be like, hey, is everything going okay with you? I need to be there for my friend that's going through financial issues, depression issues, job issues.
Yes, and it's one thing to be wrapped up in your wedding and be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't even realize what you were going through. I'm so sorry. I've been so stressed. I've been so busy. I haven't been thinking about it. That's what a friend does.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean
so. I think you saw how she's going to act when the chips are down, and I think cutting her out is probably the move because. Girl, what's going to happen when you have a death in your family? What's going to happen if something majorly traumatic happens to you? She's going to be like, oh, that's crazy that's happening because this is a huge week for me at work. I don't know. This just doesn't sound like, and maybe we're generalizing her, but I'm going off of the little hints and stuff of what you've put in your message. And it really doesn't sound like, sounds like she was trying to smooth things over so she didn't look like a bitch by saying sorry for talking shit, but she wasn't giving you an actual apology. And yeah, you know what? She's the bitch here, babe.
We're with you.
You're not a bitch. Thank you so much for leaving us a voicemail. And if anybody wants to leave us a voicemail for future audio-only episodes, go to who'sthebitch.com. That will take you to our phone number, which is 424-666-0667.
Yes.
We also accept DMs at who'sthebitchlpn. Please follow us on our Instagram. We're going to put some funny shit up there. I put polls about different, I've been putting polls up about different.
The polls you're doing.
Should this lady leave her boyfriend for, he's voting for Trump.
And if you forget any of those, you can just go right to who'sthebitch.com and you can get all of those things.
All of that.
You can do any way you want to hit us up. We would love to hear from you.
And then join us on our next live stream, which is going to be on Monday, October 28th. We'd love to see you there.
Twitch.tv/LPNTV.
That's where it is. Thank you, little bitches. We love you guys.
We love you guys. And yes, sometimes we're bitches and sometimes they're bitches. But together, we're all bitches.
But it's also fine to be a bitch a lot of the time.
Oh, God, it's great.
All right. See you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
This show is made possible by listeners like you. Thanks to our ad sponsors, you can support our shows by supporting them. For more shows like the one you just listened to, go to lastpodcastnetwork.com.